Please subscribe to Bear Nerd Fun. Smash the like button. Goodbye.
Now come on, Hollywood. Stop smelling your own farts. You might get mistaken for arse sniffers. Sniffers. Remember, when you go woke, you go broke. Hail to the fandom menace. Hail to all, where we do not kneel. Hail to all. Hail to all. This is Bear at Bear Nerd Fun. How is everyone doing today? Well, I'm sitting here checking out Twitter and all that, and I just keep hearing stuff about Terminator Dark Fate and director talking smack about fans. Well, here's this article from Variety. Terminator Dark Fate director, why Mackenzie Davis will scare the F out of misogynists. Yeah. Wonder who this dude is. That's supposed to be a dude or a girl. It's hard to tell. Director Tim Miller is set to storm Hall H with Terminator Dark Fate, his new vision for the beloved Arnold Schwarzenegger action franchise, which Paramount and Skydance will release in November. Yeah, my birthday's in November, and I don't think I'm going to go see this particular movie for my birthday. I might see it to review it, but other than that, nah. Back to the article. The Comic-Con vet has not only mounted blockbusters like Deadpool, way better movie, in San Diego, but has also been attending for 25 years. Here's his fanboy battle strategy. How will you win over Hall H with this new take on Terminator? If I was a nerd, and I am, this is the director saying this, I always imagine reading about a plot or a story and how I would feel as a fan. I can be objective that way. Like I did with Deadpool when I read online when we announced the film Terminator 6. For F's sake, why don't they let it die? I understand where those people are coming from. If it's not great, then we've had enough. Man, that guy needs to listen to his own words. Yeah. I mean, this movie's a straight to DVD or Blu-ray movie to me as far as I'm concerned. But once again, I just do opinions. I'm just giving my opinion. After Deadpool, there were a lot of projects I could have chosen, but I really wanted to see Linda Hamilton come back to personally continue her story as Sarah Connor. Like James Cameron, I always find stories about women are much more interesting than men picking up guns. You seem to forget there was a Terminator 1, 2, and 3. 2, there was a female lead, Sarah Connor character. There was lots of female leads in movies before this. Back to the article. Jim's movies are grounded in reality and characters and just happen to have time traveling robots. I'm weird the same way. I want to give the audience a story about Sarah Connor and these new characters and make everything else as realistic as possible. I want to sit in the audience and believe that this shit could happen to me. That's how I'm approaching it. Well, indeed. Rather not indeed. Wasn't the storyline about John Connors? Wasn't the storyline that Sarah Connors had to give birth to John Connors because John Connors was the savior of humanity? Not Sarah Connor. That wasn't the storyline originally. She played a huge role in bringing John Connors into the world. So what does this crap mean? Hyperbole is what I call it. Propaganda. Gender politics, which I hate. I hate it in movies. I don't go see movies with it in it. I just don't. Want a good story, a well-written story. Sure, there can be flaws, but the writing's got to be good, and then the acting's got to be good. Makes no sense to me. Why waste all those millions of dollars just to put a propaganda piece about gender politics out there? Ticks a lot of fans off, and this fan's not particularly happy. Why you gotta signify about gender? Why not just make a great movie and let it speak for itself? Back to the article. Mackenzie Davis and her character Grace feel like something very new for a franchise like this. What brought her there? I don't know. I haven't seen it. I don't know anything about their characters other than what they've wrote about them in little story pieces in the trailer. A good, well-written movie should be able to speak for itself. You shouldn't need to. Before we brought in the screenwriters, we did a room with novelists at my request because they're world builders and we're reinventing the franchise. Yeah, reinventing. Imagine that. One was Joe Abercrombie, the first Law series. Don't recall it. Who pointed out that the Terminator films tend to have a trinity of main characters. Yeah, trinity of main characters. Main character was John Connor. He was one of the trinities. He was one of three main characters. A Terminator, Sarah Connor, John Connors. Three main characters of the franchise in the films. Three main story parts. Their characters. One of those is the Protector. The Kyle Reese character portrayed by Michael Biehn in the Bane. And, that's that name, original. Jai Courtney and Anton Yelchin in sequels. Joe came out with this idea that a new Protector from the future is a machine fighter. It's a painful life, and they're scarred and take a lot of drugs to combat the pain of what's been done to them. They don't live a long time. It's a very sacrificial role. They risk death to save others. And from the very first suggestion, it was always a woman. We had to look for someone who has the physicality, but I'm very sensitive to actors. I didn't just want a woman who could physically fit the role, but emotionally as well. Mackenzie really wanted to do it. She came after the role. She worked harder than anybody. Now, I don't know anything about her character other than what they've told us and the way they've painted her, which I don't think they've done it any justice by what they've done. The people that are speaking and promoting this film. An early Dark Fate poster received backlash, calling Davis and her co-stars feminazis and other chauvinist hate speech. How do you think she'll be perceived in the room at Comic-Con? I've heard it called third wave feminism, which has a very negative connotation to it. You know, if you have to beat one particular gender down to make your point, well then you're doing something wrong. You're in the wrong. Doesn't matter who it is, what it is. If you're using it as propaganda, if you're using it to signify or virtue signal, you're wrong. Because the majority of fans don't want to see that crap. They don't want to see that crap in their established character franchises that have established characters. We don't want to see that crap, and that's why we're going to stand and we're not going to kneel. Back to the article. If you're at all enlightened, she'll play like gangbusters. Not if she's written badly. If she's written badly, it's not going to be received well by fans. Period. Back to the article. If you're a closet misogynist, well, yeah, if you have to say something like that in an article, well then, maybe you're the opposite of what that is. Maybe you're just a male man-hater if you wrote this story and you're a man. Back to the article. She'll scare the F out of you because she's tough and strong, but very feminine. Number one, I grew up in a family full of tough women. I doubt this one can scare me. That's not what it's about. It's about intelligence and strength of character in anybody that is around, whether you're male or female. Strength of character. Honor. They can take that enlightened crap and they can shove it. She'll scare the F out of you because she's tough and strong, but very feminine. Hey, tough and strong, feminine. If they have those characters, you don't have to sell it if it's good. You don't have to sell it like it's a bill of goods. Instead, you got to go out there and attack fans and call them names like misogynists when they're fans of the franchise. Fans of John Connor, Sarah Connor in a storyline with a Terminator, trying to save them or kill them. You name it. Whatever which one it is. When this movie is done and over with, we'll really like Terminator 3 and Terminator Salvation. Those will outshine these. Guaranteed. We did not trade certain gender traits for others. She's just very strong, and that frightens some dudes. You know what? I've been around a lot of strong females in my time. And it wasn't the look of strength that normally intimidated men. It was normally the look in their eye that says, don't mess with me, I'll correct you. Those things are the things that aren't so obvious that works. But of course, you know, they got to bash on the fans and they got to say things like, you can see online the responses of some of the early crap that's out there, trolls on the internet. Yeah, so if you don't give a F, what makes you think the fans are going to give an F? Do you get feedback from James Cameron? Jim has moved to New Zealand to focus on Avatar. I saw him a couple times when I got back from shooting, and I showed him a director's cut. Jim will come in and provide clarity in key moments about the goals and the franchise. He's great about looking at things and saying, this needs to be reinforced. He's like a diver into a pool. He dives to the bottom, jumps out, and the pool settles. Dives in again, he occasionally cannonballs. But it's incredible. Yeah, whatever. You're an executive producer on Sonic the Hedgehog, which was also due out in November, but it was pushed back to redesign the main character after fans deservedly protested it. Deservedly. It was horrible looking. How was that experience? Oh, are they going to criticize the fans? We'll see. Well, back to the article. When Sonic arrived, the director, Jeff Fowler, was the best guy to do it. The redesign look, I was with fans, and so was Jeff. This is a franchise, and it has to be great. Well, wait a minute. If it's a franchise, and it has to be great, Terminator was a franchise, and it's not great. It's a bunch of wokeness. They may as well call it the Wokenator. The Wokenator Dark Fate. The redesign look. I was fan, so far Jeff. And so was Jeff. This is a franchise and it has to be great. It's not being great, I don't think. When the crap hit the fan, I went over there and said, the most important thing to do, man, I say, effed up. He'd already sent a tweet out, and an hour before I got there. He's a good man. It was exactly the right way to handle that. The fans have a voice in this too. There's a right way to listen. What happened with Star Wars, The Last Jedi, when people criticized that? The fans didn't really have a voice in that. They didn't say those fans had a voice in that too. There's a right way to listen. Disney didn't even listen. Lucasfilm, that was bought by Disney, didn't even listen. Have you seen any of the characters redesigned? In fact, I have. And I think the fans will be pleased. Well, let's read what some of these here comments have to say. A bit of a fan here. You are aware that there already has been an excellent female Terminator, right? Third movie in any event, the only controversy I have read and is about the killing of John Connor. That probably won't play very well with fans. And that's just one of the comments. I'll scroll a little bit and you can pause and read some of these comments. I'm not going to read them all, but pause and give them a read. Because I'm sure they're interesting. Yeah, John says, it sounds like kind of like Miller is distancing himself from Cameron. Maybe he wants all the credit if the movie is actually good. Or maybe Cameron is keeping his distance because they're effing it up yet again. When the first was announced, it seemed like a project Cameron would spearhead in order to finally get these movies back to form. No disrespect, but more Miller, less Cameron seems to be headed into another mess. It's Cameron's story and vision that made the two originals great, and it's been proven time and again that other directors can't bring it to that level. Hey, I gotta agree with John. They're way off. Adam says, I just have one question. Will this franchise finally get the merciful bullet to the head after this latest installment flops at the box office? Good point. Uh-oh, might have a SJW alert. Amen, Tim Miller. I agree with him 100%. The sexist, immature, and intellectually shallow comments from some fans and observers have been ridiculous and embarrassing, in my opinion. individual fans can freely opine on the finished product regarding the plot, action, and other elements in the film, but some immediately have rejected and disparaged Dark Fate based on the physical appearance of Grace and their perception of a supposed feminist or political agenda. Some male fans appear to be scared out of their minds. They are alarmingly closed-minded. Way to go, Tim. Send the trolls back to the Stone Age. Yeah. Well, ain't that just amazing? Yep. SJW alert there. Hail to all. Don't kneel. Stand up. No kneeling here. Hail to the Phantom Menace. Hail to all, where we do not kneel. Hail to all. Now come on, Hollywood. Stop smelling your own farts. You might get mistaken for arse sniffers. Sniffers. Say hello. Hello. Say hello. Say nerd fun. Nerd fun. Nerd fun. Say goodbye. Goodbye. Hail to the Phantom Menace.